Hey guys, it's your boy Slag bringing you another modded console compatible Baldur's Gate 3 video. This one on how to get and play as, air quotes there, Withers if you want to. Now jumping quickly into the video, there's going to be one mod more than any other you're going to need, and that's going to be the Choose Your Steprat Mario mod. This is what we're going to use to bypass the fact that you cannot get Withers. Second, we are going to use the Dawnstar Necromancy spells, and that's going to give us some additional unique spells that we could say are because Withers is a god. Another one is the Immortal Scratch, because Good Boy does Forever Boy. Now, there will be a few other mods added in to help with spells and everything, but that's going to be, just for extra flavor. But you're going to also want to get the Necrotic Mastery Feat mod. This is going to make it so that no one can resist your necromancy spells, either with resistance or immunities. So that is very important. Now, when making withers, there's a few things we're going to have to consider. Now, mind you, we do have those mods. So, you're going to start with the custom character. You're going to choose a high elf. You can do a half elf, but still, you want the high elf. You're going to get the cantrip if you added the mod, Ray of Decay. If you did not add that mod, then you can still add something like Bone Chill. Next for cast, you're going to go with Wizard. For spells, you're going to choose Shield, Protect You from Good and Evil, or Evil and Good, Mage Armor, Absorb Elements, and two of the cantrips added from the Necromancy mod, Seance and Witch's Spill. Then you're going to, again, choose the cantrips that were from that new mod with the Necromancy spells. So you got Pain Puppet, Bone Dust Tongue, and Pluck Life. Background, you're going to choose Scribe because Withers is the Scribe of the Dead. Spoilers, Withers is actually the god Jurgle, the one who gave up the domains of murder, tyranny, and death over to the Dead Three, which was Baal, Merkel, and I forget the last one. Next, you are going to choose Intelligence as your main stat, followed by Constitution, Dexterity. If you chose the Scribe background, and again, you use the mod, you get a little extra, for it. You're going to put in your skills in Religion and Insight, because Jurgle, again, had religion spaced around him, and Insight because, it's either that or medicine. He's not exactly healing people. Now, appearance for your character does not matter. I just did this to try and make him look a little bit like Jurgle. Now, once you have Withers, you are going to go into your inventory, and you're going to select the Potion of Wishes, choose your stats that you have got from the mod. Upon drinking it, you're going to get a lot of different options. This will let you do a lot of things, most of it game breaking, like giving yourself the extra attack of fighters, or just choosing how many actions or bonus actions, a lot of different things. We're not here to do that. We're just going to go to change your form, use to transform into other creatures. This will let you disguise yourself into different origin members, some animals, characters, people who are not even playable, like Mizora. Look like the Emperor, even the different versions of Raphael. Even though the Cambion Zog, when I last tried it, it did not work. You can go into Slayer form. So there's a few different options, but this is what we're going to need. Use to transform into another creature. You cannot turn into a child. And I'm glad they made sure that you can't turn into a child. So then you're going to click on Withers. and voila. Now, once you are done looking like Withers, you then want to go to the radio and look for choose your stats end. Do not remove all status from the magical potion. This is just going to clear the reticle. Now, this is purely a cosmetic effect. You are not going to see it when you're in the level up screen, but it's fine. You're going to choose Necromancy. Now, I have thought about the different options, but Ray of Sickness and Cause Fear. Now, we're going to be using spells from the Dawnstar mod, and we're going to get Blood Offering, which is going to do damage to yourself, taking 2d8 necrotic, and it makes it so that anyone who does physical damage to you takes that much melee physical damage back to themselves. You also get the spell Death Dagger. So after using Blood Offering, you'll get the bonus action Death Dagger. Stab a target with a dagger formed out of your own life force. You regain half the damage dealt back as hit points. If the target is affected by Bone Dust Tongue, you gain an additional hit points equal to your spellcaster modifier. So, Bone Dust Tongue. So what you would do is activate this. Then next turn, you will activate Bone Dust Tongue, and then hit him with this, and you can actually recover a fair amount of hit points. And Soul Prism. Trap some of the essence of a fresh corpse into a crystal that floats above you, gaining 10 temporary hit points. When the temporary hit points are depleted, the prism shatters, releasing its essence to heal with allies within 3 meters for 2 to 16 hit points. As the level 4 wizard, you are then going to choose a new cantrip. You can pick Bone Chill, Toll the Dead, Lockler's Minor Drain, or Sapping Sting. For spells, if you did add the mods, you go with Wither and Bloom and Hold Person. And then you're going to pick your first feat. For this, you are going to choose Necrotic Mastery. This is modded in. If not, just go for another stat boost. But Necrotic Mastery is going to make it so that you ignore resistance and immunity, and you cannot roll a 1 on necrotic spells. At level 5, you're going to get level 3 spell slots. You're going to want to choose the spells Spirit Shroud, and just choose necrotic damage, and Death Ray from the Dawnstar Necromancy spell list. This is pretty much going to be your go-to spell for the rest of the game. At level 6, you are going to get Undead Thrall, additional Undead, Undead Thrall's better summons, and Animate Dead. Now with Withers, Animate Dead, you're basically just using servants, you're not trying to make an army. Now for spells, you're going to use Counterspell and Soul Bomb. At level 7, you're going to get 4th level spells. You are going to choose Light and Storm of Souls from the Dawnstar Nexus list. At level 8, you're going to choose the Banishment spell because there is a point, without too many spoilers, where Withers will actually banish somebody if certain actions are chosen inside the game. Then you're going to choose Mortalis Eterna, or however it's pronounced, and we're going to end up with an uneven stat number anyway. So instead, if you put in the mods for feats that I had showed earlier, you want to choose Fey Touch. You want to put 1 point in intelligence to round that number out. And I would recommend either choosing Command or Bane. Um, Given Wither's nature, I would say choose Command. At level 9, you're going to choose the spell's Death March, which is going to allow you to target 4 corpses and essentially command their skeletons to rise and fight for you, as it puts it. And then Gravebinder. Now, at level 10, you are going to get Inured to Undeath. This is going to make you resistant to necrotic damage, and your maximum hit points cannot be reduced. Now, again, you get to choose a cantrip. If you added the mods, you'll be able to choose Sapping Sting, but Lochner's Minor Drain is also a good option. For spells, I would recommend to choose Negative Energy Flood and Enervation. At level 11, you're going to get level 6 spell slots. I highly recommend, and it's almost mandatory, Circle of Death and Disintegrate. We all heard Wither's line, and eventually everything turns to dust, so Disintegrate is definitely a spot-on spell, even if it's not necrotic. Now, at level 12, you're going to choose the spells Macabre Explosion. Remember to target a body or a undead entity, and create undead. Now, one thing I do want to say, there was one spell, Final Offering. It is a 6th level spell, but the spell description does not explain well what it does, and I have not tested it out. But for its description, it does not explain a good reason to use it, but if you are curious and you downloaded the mod, check it out. Now, Final Offering, in addition to what I said in the beginning, will give you 3 options. Final Ascension will, once you activate the spell, will heal your teammates for an amount equal to your maximum hit points, and they gain an additional action. Final Offering, Oblivion, will allow you to do 10 to 100 damage, and then the final one, Dreadwake, you offer your soul to the void, blah blah blah. You release a wave, and enemies become feared, and you know what? That's actually kind of a good effect. You can choose to upcast the spells, a bit of a nice size AoE. So if you're like me, you're going to add a mod that gives you extra levels, up to level 20, just like it is in D&D. If not, you can just leave the build at level 12, it's fine. And if you decide to go to level 20, you're not going to get any new spells as you level up, they're just not programmed into the game. Now, there is some other builds that I considered, like going 8 levels of Domain Cleric on top of the 12 Wizard, but it didn't work out, especially because the way the stats are spread. So, either way, as you level up, put your extra stat points into Constitution. Other than that, just, full 20 levels of Wizard, and just destroy anything that gets in your way. Now, one option, if you're going to want to have Withers in the party, but you don't want him to be a talking character with somebody else's voice, or you just don't want to be actual Withers right through your playthrough, but you want to have him on your team. So what I would actually recommend is choosing Jason, because he is already a high elf, even if he is a half elf. Like before, you're going to drink the potion.
Some power for the taking.
Make yourself look like Withers. And that spell. And change your class. You are going to choose, like before, Wizard. And you can do the entirety of the spells that we picked earlier all over again. Now again, looks don't matter for this, but you could also change the name to Withers if you wanna.
This vessel is at thy disposal. Do what thou wilt.
Alright guys, and that's how you actually able to play as Withers, or even have Withers on your team. And I do recommend using a hireling more than actual custom created character, because it's almost just like, he shows up and he just joins your team. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for making it this far. And comment down below, Bone Daddy, if you made it this point. So, y'all take care now. Peace.